Yes, people, we're back. We're back again with another stream. Now, first things foremost, whether you're watching this live or on playback, hit the like button, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to help me grow this channel and help me grow this community. Now, I've turned on some fucking noise cancelling feature on my mic because it was picking up quite a bit in the background and like stuff around the house. So hopefully that should have fixed it. Let me put on Twitter now that I'm actually live. So we can get this stream going. So yeah, to leave it sounds alright on the call anyway. I was having the call on the stream on my phone. Let's have a look, repost that. Cool. Right, anyway, so this is going to be a bit of a mixed stream. We're obviously going to review the Everton game that just happened against Liverpool. We've got Manchester United, Chelsea tonight. And we've also got Arsenal against Manchester City, which is the main sort of purpose of this stream, because I wasn't going to do a preview today, but I didn't get a chance to go through Arteta's press conference notes in the evening, which I was going to do. However, I'm going to try and find them now, so I have them ready. Smash the likes as well while I am getting these up. This fucking update on my Mac has been bugging as well. I don't know what's going on. Look, those of you who have got a MacBook and have got this new update, it's making it a bit more slow. I'll go through Mikel Arteta's press conference in a bit, but yeah, like I said, we just seen Liverpool get another win. That's 5 in a row, 6 in a row if you want to count the Champions League game. And although the performance weren't spectacular, because to be fair, since the second goal went in for Liverpool, Everton were doing a lot without doing anything, if you know what I mean. But they were in control. They were getting their best players on the ball. That goal by Idrissa Gueye, by the way, what a finish. And that's another player as well, Jack Grealish. Since that guy's gone to Everton, it's like he's had a whole new lease of life. And to be fair, him and Dewsbury Hall as well, who left Chelsea, he's a guy who I rate as well. And I'm surprised he never got as much game time as he did at Chelsea. And those Chelsea fans, if you happen to watch this, please let me know, because this guy, he's a techie Premier League footballer. He may not be good enough for the bigger teams, but he's got good sort of good fundamentals as a player. And Jack Grealish, like I said, absolute baller. He was their main outlet. To be fair, for majority in that game against Conor Bradley. And to be fair, Liverpool weren't scintillating. They started the game really well. They were moving the ball quick. They were getting into their forward line pretty quickly. But then they get the couple goals, and that goal from Gravenberch, by the way, the fact that the ball was spinning away as well, and he somehow managed to get that contact on, and fair play to him. And then Hugo Ekitike, nice little finish as well through Jordan Pickford's legs. And then you're thinking, right, Liverpool, they're in the ascendancy, they're comfortable. They're not going to throw this away, surely. And then Everton get that goal back. And you're thinking, right, it's going to be a bit of a sort of less comfortable game now for Everton. But they were in control of that game for most of that second half, I believe. And well, to be fair, because I was away for like maybe like a 5-minute spell at times. But from what I saw, they were in control of that game, but they weren't really testing Alisson like that. And to be fair, better in that first half, he got hooked at half time, and he wasn't being a sort of focal point for them at all, really. But yeah, Liverpool get that win. That is now 5 games in a row in the Premier League. Let's have a look at the table, because there are teams that are kicking off now. Well, I say kicking off now. They kick off in about 15 minutes. And to be fair, Brighton Tottenham, that will be a decent game. Got West Ham against Palace, Burnley against Forest, Wolves against Leeds. And then we got the big one. I say big one. We got the one interesting one later. Manchester City against Chelsea, which it's going to be an interesting game, because there's a lot of what ifs in that game. Because you're thinking, what if Manchester United lose? Will Amarim get sacked? what if Chelsea don't win? That's now 3 games without a win. They drew to Brentford. They lost to Bayern Munich midweek. And if we look at the table, because Liverpool won, so that took them another 3 points clear of the rest. But obviously, we still got to play. So they're on 15 points now. If Arsenal were to win, which I think we will against Manchester City, but we will get onto that in a little bit, we'll be on 12 points. If Chelsea were to, let's say, get a draw, because even a draw against Manchester United won't be great, that will put them on 9 points. That will put them 6 points behind Liverpool. And God forbid, well, I say God forbid, hopefully if they lose that game, that will put them on. That will put them on. What would you call it? That will put them on 8 points. That will be 7 points behind Liverpool. And if they were to draw, that would be 3 draws already this season. And for all the hype that they came in with in the start of the season, this has not been a good start to the season at all from Chelsea. And you're seeing, right, oh, we're world champions. We're going to come into the season. We should be in a title race. And yes, they should be in a title race. However, the transfer window they had was not great at all. And I was talking about this with someone maybe a couple of days ago. With the money that Chelsea spent, and people are going to go, yeah, oh, Arteta spent $1 billion, and look at your squad, you haven't won anything. Yes, whatever, we know. But the point is, Chelsea have not won. Sorry, they've not got a decent amount of quality in their team, and they've got what? Garnacho, Neto, Esteval, Palmer plays on the right, Gittins. And to be fair, they spent what, about 90 million together on Gittins and Garnacho. 2 players that they could have found way better players elsewhere. Let's just be completely honest. And to get them 2 as because to be fair, Gittins, he got what? I think he was on the bench at Dortmund, I'm pretty sure. So he wasn't even getting game time like that. Their manager wasn't even rating him. I don't know who their manager is now. I think Terzic left, I think. Their manager, Niko Kovac, no idea who this fucker is, but obviously he weren't rating him, so they let him go. And Garnacho, less said about that guy, the better. That guy is absolutely fucking useless. And yeah, their recruitment has not been good at all. And I think the facts that we even saw in the Brentford game, the facts they had to bring on their ballers, like as in Cole Palmer, Reece James, and all them a lot, because without them, they were dying. And look, it's going to be an interesting game tonight because to be honest, I think it'll be a draw anyway, because there's something about what do you call it? Chelsea at Old Trafford, similar to Arsenal in a way, but to be fair, we've actually got a couple of wins there over the past couple of years. I think it's been since 2013 that Chelsea haven't won there, which is crazy. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tonight. And on the other side as well, Manchester United. It seems like for how bad they've been, Ruben Amorim is not under as much pressure as he should be. Oh, what the fuck have I done here? Nope. Can I have my thing in the centre? No, because that just makes me disappear. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Can I move my camera a bit more? Nah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? We'll take the background off. Cancel that. Right, but that's normal. Okay, cool. But yeah, like I said, I think Ruben Amorim is not under the pressure he should be, because to lose to Grimsby in the way that or to even lose to Grimsby full stop, to even have them take it to penalties with the players that they've got, to get embarrassed like that in the Manchester derby. And I see this guy coming out in his press conference joking with the press that, oh, I've had a conversation with Jim Radcliffe. It's along them lines, and they've agreed on new contracts. But obviously, it's in a joking way. But he's either losing it or he knows that he's chewing his job, and that's one thing that I've seen from the outside with Ineos and Manchester United is that they've um they've they've had terrible decision making when it comes to getting rid of the manager. Both times with Ten Hag, and with Amorim, and with Amorim being their first appointment, maybe it's a case of right. We don't want to be seen as not as having this decision making be terrible, and we don't want to be embarrassed about our first appointment. And to be fair, I think I can't remember the guy's name. That Omar, I think it's Omar Barada, the ex-City CEO. I think it was his recommendation as well, in regards to Amorim being appointed, which is, I guess, probably an L on his side because we've seen just how bad of a coach Ruben Amorim is. And to be fair, I wanted him at Arsenal as well when he first when he was getting sort of headlines when he was at Sporting Lisbon. And I did see something as well about in the couple of years that he was there, Ruben Amorim outperformed his team. Outperformed his XG, which means that his forwards were just being super clinical, and it wasn't down to his coaching as to why they were doing so well, which is crazy. And that sort of puts a better light on the situation that this guy is not a good coach. And the thing about being a good coach, not just playing the prettiest football and doing so well in Portugal and then obviously getting the job here. The whole point of being a good coach is getting the best out of what you've got. And he is nowhere getting the best out of what he's got because this guy, for the players that he's got, I'm going to go through Manchester United's team. Manchester United squad, because they have got some good players. As bad as they've been, they have got quality in that team, especially in attack as well. And yes, it's funny to laugh at as a rival fan. However, they're not actually that bad if you think about it. And I think a good manager, he gets them up the table straight away. Yes, the goalkeepers aren't it. Maybe with this Lamens guy is good. We don't know. We've got to wait and see. Their defence to me is decent. You can put a back four of Mazraoui, De Ligt, Yoro, and Dorgu. That is a decent back four. Dorgu, I'm not too sure about as a player because he is quite what's the word? He's very rash with his decision making at times, I believe. But I think there is a good player in there. Midfield, I think, is a massive issue for them. That's why they were looking at Baleba. But even their attack, Ahmad Cunha, Sesko, and Mbeumo. You've got Xerxes there as well, who you can play up front or in the 10. I've just made, apart from the midfield, I've just made a starting 11 that could comfortably compete for top four for Manchester United. And to see how Amorim is not getting the best out of them players is mad. But yeah, they play Chelsea tonight. I believe it will be a draw. I think United will play a bit better because I think being at Old Trafford and the record that they have against Chelsea, because there must be some sort of mental block there. I see it with my team all the time, where we used to have to go to Old Trafford, we never get the win. Anfield, Etihad, Stamford Bridge until recently, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium until recently, or White Hart Lane, whatever stadium it may be, and even some other random stadiums as well. Like fucking St Mary's, we never win there. Newcastle, we never win there. And we've got Newcastle next week as well, which is which that'll definitely be interesting. But hang on, what? Right, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? Right, anyway, I'm still learning about using StreamYard properly, but yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1 in that game, and I'm gonna go through Arteta's press conference notes now because we do play Manchester City tomorrow, and I do expect a win. I think we will. We will beat him in that game. Will it be comfortable? I think it will. I don't think it will be comfortable as a scoreline. It won't be the 5-1s as of like last season, but I do think we will beat them, and I think it will be a comprehensive performance, a comprehensive win on scoreline. I don't know because that 5-1 was probably a freak result. But yeah, I'm going to get into it now. I like how the BBC have summarised his press conference and the key points. Arteta says that there is a chance that Bukayo Saka, Ben White, and Martin Odegaard will be available after Saturday's training session, but they haven't trained yet with the team. Me personally, I wouldn't risk playing any of them. It's a long season ahead. We've got Champions League games, we've got Carabao Cup games next week. Ben White, I can't remember what his exact injury was, but Bukayo Saka, I would not risk him at all. I saw a stat as well now. I think with the times that we beat Manchester City under Arteta, Saka has never featured in any of them, which is mad. It's obviously a coincidence as well because he happens to be injured for them games. But yeah, I wouldn't risk Odegaard either. I'd start one early in this game. Mikel Merino and Victor Gyökeres both suffered head injuries in Tuesday's Champions League game over Bilbao, but they are fine to play. I would not start Mikel Merino in this game. In midfield, he is useless. If you're going to play him up front. But we've got Gyökeres now, who I think will bag a couple goals in this game. Not only with the game being at home, but I think Man City's style of play suiting him to a T. And obviously he got a hat-trick for them. Hat-trick against Man City last season when he was a sport in Lisbon. So I think this game is set up perfectly for Gyökeres to bag in this game. Defender William Saliba is pushing to return this match day, but a final decision will be made on Saturday. In that game, I will start Mosquera in this game. I think he's looked comfortable in the games that he's played. I wouldn't rush Saliba back either. It's a long season ahead. I think start Saliba as well because I think he will be a bit rusty in this game should he start. But yeah, I'd sit him down on the bench, and I'll start Mosquera and Gabriel in that centre back pairing. Madueke's impact on the team is very positive, but he's not surprised as he knew Madueke was a player that carries threat and unpredictability. It's the thing with Madueke because in that game against Bilbao, he'd done a lot without doing anything. He got the ball, he was beating his man, but his end product was fucking awful. And I guess he is right when he mentions about the unpredictability because we never know what he's going to do. The fullback never knows what he's going to do. And if we're being real, he fucking doesn't know either, which is not a good thing at all because we've seen this guy at Chelsea look a threat, but he's not actually being a threat. But yeah, I think he is going to start. I think Eze will start on the left. But the question is, I'm not sure if he will go with the right midfield. I'm not sure because I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's going to think to himself, right, it's a big game. I'm going to go with Mikel Merino. Mikel Merino in the 9. Oh, sorry, in midfield, which won't be a good look at all. 1 second. Right, we're back. So yeah, all the games just kicked off. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he went with the midfield of Rice, Bimendi, and Marino. But he should be playing either Moneri or at home. We should be playing in a positive manner, which we know what this guy's like. On the Gunners, only allowing 2 chances from open play in their past 4 games. There are still a lot of things we can improve. We know that, but it's a very good foundation. And to be fair, yeah, this season we have been defensively solid. But I think we only let in 1 goal, and that 1 goal was a fucking Soboslai free kick, weren't it? Which is basically a wonder strike, really. But yeah, apart from that, we haven't looked like conceding. It's the only, which I rate from Arteta. I rate that he has coached us to look harder to beat. The only problem we've got is the other end, which really matters. Yes, they do say attacks win you games, defense wins you titles, but we drew 14 games last season, and most of that was down to our attack being massively underwhelming. But yeah, something that he should be sorting out, but it matters with Arteta and attack because he has killed quite a lot of attackers. And I went through a list on a past stream with the amount of attackers that he has not, really got the best out of. But yeah, it's a history with Arteta, really. He said they are lucky to have players who can impact games from the bench, and you need a quality nowadays to unlock games as to do it. And playing 3 games a week is difficult. And to be fair, that is probably the best role for Martinelli and Trossard, because Trossard, to be fair, throughout his time at Arsenal, has always been a player that, coming off the bench, is a reliable player to get a goal. And I like Trossard as a player, but last season he was awful. And to be fair, coming off the bench is probably his best role against tighter legs. And the same with Gabriel Martinelli. I mean, that pacing behind, I wouldn't mind him coming off the bench at all against Man City, especially with the high line that they like to play against probably most teams in the league. But that is it from the press conference, really. I like how the BBC has summed it up into key points without me having to go through every single note from the Arsenal website. But that is it from the press conference. And I think, like I said, I think we will beat Man City. I think it will be I'm going to go with score prediction 3-1. I think the team lineup will probably be David Raya in goal, Gabriel, Mosquera, Timber, and Calafiori as fullbacks, because we have got Port Vale midweek, so I do expect a lot of rotation. So I think like I said, Kepa, Martinelli, and Trossard will play that game, and stuff like that. I think Rice and Rice and Zubimendi and Waneri start in the midfield, but I wouldn't be surprised if Marino starts. And I think the front 3, probably Madueke, Eze, and Victor Gyökeres. But I did see quite a lot of people saying that they reckon Martinelli, because he scored, he will start with Arteta. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, listen, big up to YouTube Short Animals. I hope we don't celebrate a win like this last season just to not win anything. I completely hear you, mate. And I think that game as well, because I think we had our second leg against Newcastle, I believe, a couple of days earlier or a couple of days later. So I think everyone was so high, I was celebrating the win. And to be fair, it was a good win. A 5-1 win against City, as bad as they were. That was a good win as well. And I was celebrating that a bit, not over the top like most people do, but yeah, I think there was a lot of over celebrating, and that's the thing with this football club and modern football. To be fair, a lot of people like to over celebrate wins, but I think it's ironic as well because we have got Newcastle in our next Premier League game, and Newcastle away will definitely be a tough game. Right, yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, like I said, Newcastle away next week. That's going to be an even tougher game, but because our record at St James's is absolutely awful. But yeah, I went through my starting 11, went through the press conference notes, and went through the couple games we've had before. Let's have a look at the scores now. Because so currently Nottingham Forest are 1-0 up. Angie's Nottingham Forest as well, away to Burnley. Brighton Tottenham still 0-0. West Ham Palace and Wolves Leeds. Hopefully these fucking what's it called? These 3 o'clock games are actually better than last weekend because they were stinky nevertheless. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Gonna go probably play some FIFA for a bit because these games look dead. I'll just go through some comments last time. Big up again. We celebrate wins like that, and Real Madrid, Real Madrid like a trophy or getting second place. It's an achievement. It ain't if you don't win something or building it. 3 years, 2 is regression. Fucking hell, I was dreaming, but there we go. But yeah, I completely hear it. And you say 2 years is regression. I kind of feel like it's what I think our first season was very good. However, we our say first season, first year of the title race was good. However, we should have won that league. And to be fair, you can argue as well that the second year, I think the first 2 years are probably about similar. Or to be fair, we were 1 point off the league or a couple points off the league. However, I'd argue 100% it's regression as well because we got worse that season, the season after, and yeah, we got to a Champions League semi. Wolves have scored, I think. Yeah, Wolves have just scored. But yeah, that last season, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, we finished second again." So we've had a good season again. We got so close. We did not get close. We were what? We finished what? Like a proper handful of points of Liverpool last season. And yeah, we got to a Champions League semi. Champions League semi last season. But yeah, apart from that, our season was terrible in the league anyway. Because we got about what? 15 draws, which is that is proper unheard of. But then getting second place for 3 years is regression, and our cups have been terrible. Yeah, 100%. Because these cup runs, apart since he's won it, I think we've only gone past the fourth round or got on past the third round twice. I think the year after he won it, and then a couple of years after when we played Man City in the cup. Apart from that, we've gone out early in the Carabao Cup, early in the FA Cup, and yeah, we've got the 2 semi-finals. But to be fair, the game against Liverpool semi-final, we should have went through that year. We got the 0-0 at Anfield, and we should have took it back to the Emirates and won it. We didn't, and then the one just gone against Newcastle, it should have been us in that final. And to be fair, by the way Liverpool performed, we should have won that trophy. But to be fair, even if Arteta wins either a League Cup or FA Cup, I still wouldn't have gone because you spent £1 billion. £1 billion should be getting you titles and Champions Leagues. And yes, I'll be happy if we win the trophy, if we win the Carabao Cup or FA Cup, I'll be happy. However, with the money you spent and the fact you won the cup, got rid of that whole squad and built a new one, and you can't win him, that's unacceptable. And this whole thing of we do well against the big six is a lost lot. Exactly, yeah, because I think the game against Liverpool, that basically killed the record dead. And the thing is with the big six, it's a load of bullshit because yes, so what if we do well against the big six? We don't do well against West Ham's, Fulham's, Brighton's, and all them other teams because let's be real, there's 5 other teams in the big six, excluding us. That's what fucking my brain's fucking fucked from knackered, but you get the point. That's what 3 points. That's 50. That's about 30 points. But to be fair, there's so many other points to pick up because there's another there's another 14 teams in the league who should be beaten home and away. And this whole thing about we need to beat Man City or beat the title challengers home and away to win the league. You don't. You can lose to either and still win it. If we had the year that we bought with the 8-point lead, if we had lost to Man City home and away, which we done, if we won the games like beating Liverpool, beating West Ham, beating Southampton, Brighton, Newcastle, we would have won the league. And to be fair, Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, or Man City, I think they only won at Anfield once, and that was during lockdown, I believe it was. When Liverpool went on that, I think it was 6 games without a win at home. We also drew against them as well. Yeah, exactly. I think we beat West Ham 5-2, but we lost them at home. We drew to Fulham away. We drew Brighton home and away. We drew to Man United away as well, which was a bad result. And to be fair, we should have even beaten Liverpool at the Emirates as well, which we didn't. But yeah, but I'm going to end it here. Like I said, because everyone who has come in and out of the stream, it will be available on playback as well if you guys want to go check it out. And I will see you lots probably for the match reaction tomorrow. I might do a stream beforehand. Depends because who is playing tomorrow? I hope Tottenham are 1-0 down. Unlucky lads. They're 1-0 down to Brighton. Who's playing tomorrow? Let's have a look. Tomorrow, if I can get the fucking screen up. Brentford against Manchester United. That's next week. Bournemouth Newcastle. That would be a decent game. Bournemouth are doing well at the minute. And then obviously we've got Man City. Man City are playing Arsenal tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. Big up to everyone who has tuned in, and I'll catch you lot in a bit.